Hi, Amy Jensen here. I am going to show you how to do these awesome pocket kangaroo pillows, whatever you want to call them. I call them kangaroo pillows. They are perfect for just about anything your kids can shove in them, whether it be books, stuffed animals, pajamas for on the go. Say you're traveling somewhere, you can throw in earbuds and iPods, games, pretty much anything you can imagine you'd want to travel with. You can leave the pouch on the front to kind of display what you want, throw in your pajamas and stuff in. Or if you're traveling with it, like I said, you could use it so that the front part here is the pillow to sleep on. And then the back part is going to be where you can store like your phone, iPod, chargers, all that type of stuff. So the beautiful fabric I have here, this is Minky from Rocker by Dee's Stash Fabrics, which is the softest Minky you're ever going to touch. And the cute little pandas. So things that you're going to need to get started, you're going to want a pillow of some sort. Just make sure that you know the size of it. This one's going to be an 18 by 18. The last one I did that I was showing there was a 16 by 16. You can use a brand new one purchased at a store, or if you want to repurpose old ones or even make your own, whichever you want to do. Doesn't matter, you can do organic filling or down feathers, whatever you want. Completely up to you. You're also going to need your fabric of choice. You'll need two pieces, one for the front piece, one for the back. They don't have to be the same. I chose to use Minky for both of them just because it's so soft to lay on that it's just kind of absolutely perfect. You can use just about any fabric. Obviously, stretchier ones are going to stretch more, so you could either interface it or leave it stretchy, whatever you want to do. You're also going to need the front piece for the pouch. Again, you can use whichever fabrics you want. You could even mix and match. Say you did Minky for the back, you could do this part in cotton lycra or woven, whatever you want to do. You are going to need pins or clips to hold it together if you prefer, a hand needle for sewing the opening shut, your scissors or rotary of choice to obviously cut out your fabric, rulers make it easier, and then optional would be FOE, fold over elastic, to put on the top of your pouch here. Or if you prefer, you can sew it down. Just know that you won't have as tight of a pouch against the pillow. But whatever you prefer, it is completely up to you. When cutting your FOE, if you're using binding, you're going to cut it the same width of your pillow. If you're using elastic and you want to have a tighter pouch, what I do is I cut it about an inch shorter of your width. That way it kind of pulls a little bit. And then stretch your fold over elastic as you're sewing so that it's completely straight and doesn't affect the length of your piece here. It's just going to kind of pull it just a tad so that the pouch closes a little bit tighter. Once you have your piece of fold over elastic sewn onto the front little piece here, the short one, you are going to lay it on top of the front piece of your pillow. Now, if you did cut it shorter like I did, where I cut an inch off of the FOE so that it pulls a little bit, you're going to notice that it's going to pull a little bit in the corners until you get it all sewn, so it's not going to lay perfectly flat. So what I do is I line up the sides, the corners, and the bottom just so that it makes it easier, because then what you're going to do is take the opposite piece and with right sides together, you are going to line it all up and pin it. Clip all the way around. So again, you've got your right sides together, and then sandwiched in between here, you have your pouch part. Make sure that you have the fold over elastic part pinned down or clipped down, whichever you prefer, so that it's holding it tight here. And again, it might be a little bit wavy because it's pulling. Just make sure when you're sewing it that you kind of push it out of the way. You are going to leave a turning hole anywhere between about like 6 or 8 inches. You be the judge of it depending on your pillow. These ones that I have, they squish and I can almost fold it in half, so I don't need quite as big, and I'll probably do about 6 inches. But I leave that turn hole at the top because you're going to hand sew this shut. And if you do it on the bottom, like most would think you'd want to do, you're going to have 3 layers that you're going to have to hand sew shut. So, I mean, if you want to do that, you can, but I find it easier to leave the turning hole at the top so that I can hand sew just these 2 shut rather than trying to hold the front layer, the back layer, and the pouch layer all together. So then just sew with the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance all the way around the side. Once you have it sewn all the way around and you've got your top part here for turning, you're going to want to clip your corners right here. That's so that your corners stay nice and sharp. And then you're just going to turn and birth this through. Push out each of the corners. And then what I do is I use a nice orange stick here, cuticle pusher. You can use chopsticks, anything pointy. And I will take those to my corners and push them out that way. That way they're nice and sharp and square. Then you get to take your pillow and shove it right in. Once you have it all the way in, you'll see that it's all situated, push the corners out and everything. You are going to close it with a ladder stitch. So this is where you're going to hand thread it. I have a knot on the end of my thread here. And to do a ladder stitch, I hope you can see this. It might be easier to Google it, but what you're going to do is go right to the inside of one. So I'm coming from the inside. And I am just going to stay right on the inside of my seam allowance here. And your seam allowance was a 1/4 of an inch. Then go to the opposite side at about a 1/4 of an inch and just kind of poke it through about an 1/8 of an inch. Obviously the shorter, the stronger it's going to be. And then this, what we'll do is we'll leave the seam on the inside here so that you don't see it sticking out. So then you're going to keep doing that all the way across. So again, on the opposite end, I'm just going right in the seam allowance a little bit on the inside. And then go to the other side again, about an 1/8 of an inch on the inside. You're not going over, you're staying right on the inside, sir. So right on the inside of your seam allowance here, inside there. See if I can zoom in a little bit more. So right on the inside. And then once I do this side, I'm going to go to the opposite side and do the same thing pretty close together within the seam allowance here, about an 1/8 of an inch that I'm going to go through. So I'm completely in on the other side. And then back. On the other. So just rotating the sides. Over and over until you get all the way to the end. And when you get to the end, what you're going to want to do is tie it around, go like this through the end, loop it around, and then do a knot on that end. So once you have sewn all the way across the top here and you've gotten to your end, this is where I was saying you're going to want to do the knot. So what I do is at the very end, put my needle through, I wrap my thread around it once or twice, pull it through, and then just pull. You want to pull it tight enough to lock the knot there, but not so tight that you're going to pull your whole seam there. And then if you want, you can add another one just for good measure. Snip it shut, and then you are in business. You've got yourself a little pouch that you can shove all your things in, so you can throw books in it for kids going either to a sleepover. You can throw the pajamas in it if they're going over to friends, family members. Throw whatever they need in there. If you are traveling somewhere, again, you can throw all your travel stuff in there and have it with you on the go.